everyone to another episode of our live stream with me and Ali. And we're glad to have you here today again. We finished our CSS live stream. Sorry, with Tailwind CSS live stream last week. That was like last week was the last episode we had with Tailwind, and it marked the end of us exploring Tailwind and using it collaboratively. And today's episode, we're going to be using React and showing you some things in React, awesome stuff, and yeah, building cool stuff like. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all for me. Yeah, Ali, you want to go?
Okay. So, in the name of God, hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. So, happy weekends. So, I hope that you're having an amazing day. So, as Toby explained everything, so I don't need to say anything else. Like Toby did explain everything. Like last week, we just finished the Tailwind CSS, and we were trying our best to tell you like what Tailwind CSS is, and what benefit it is going to give us while building a project. So
Yeah.
for the next 5 or 10 live streams, we are going to teach you how to work with React.js. Like while we are teaching, we are also making project to show like how to use the state management, like how to whenever we click a button, how to change the value of something, like while working with React.js. So for today's live stream, like we divided this live stream in 3 parts, no, 2 parts. The first part, we are going to answer some questions, and after we are done with the questions, we are going to make a simple project. So are you ready, Toby?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. It's
Okay.
always born ready.
Okay, let's do it. So these are the 5 questions that we are going to answer it. So the first 3 questions I'm going to answer it, and the last 2 questions Toby is going to do it. So the first question is, what is React? Which is a very common question. So React is a JavaScript library which is used to make website, which is used to make application, and etc. Like it's a JavaScript library which is going to make our work very easy, and it was built on 2013 by Facebook, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very famous. Like everyone is using React nowadays for building
Yeah.
project like a
Yeah.
complex website. Yeah, and that is the answer of the first question. Like the answer for the second question is, why do we need React? Like you might ask, like I know JavaScript, I know CSS, I know HTML, and I can easily make a website. Then what's the point of using another thing? Like what's the point of learning another library? Like as I said, React is a library. So you might ask, like, what's the point of learning React while I know how to work with JavaScript and I can easily make a website, like a fully responsive website with JavaScript. So I'm here to say that React is a library that is going to make our work very easy. Like I'm sure that you can build a massive project with only using JavaScript, but with React.js, it's your work is going to be, it's not your work is going to be very easy, and it's not going to take too much time, and also not too much effort. Like for an example, if you see this website is having lots of page, like documents, like different routes. Like if you have used the HTML, vanilla JavaScript, vanilla CSS, like you might need to create lots of page HTML, like for each page. But with
Yeah.
React.js, yeah, but with React.js, what we need to do is we say like when you're in this route, you can give me the information about specific on this route. So you can do it easily with React.js, but with HTML, vanilla JavaScript, you have to do it manually, which will take too much time and which will make like you have to put lots of effort to make it, and that doesn't
Yeah.
worth it. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not super
yeah.
worth it. It's not.
Like we want our work to be very, like we want to make our work very easy and fast. Okay, that was the
Yeah.
second
Fast.
answer of the second question. And then the third question is it easy to work with React? So I have to say that before learning the React, we have to know some concept of JavaScript. For example, a split operator, arrays method, because these are the things that we are using it every day. like every time while you're working with React.js or Next.js.
Yes, yes,
So I'm
six.
not
Yes, six.
exactly, yeah. And I'm not saying that it's very easy, and I'm not saying it's very hard. Like it's in the between of them. Like everything is not easy to achieve. Like you have to pay something. Like React is not that easy. It's not that hard. Like what if you try your best, like practice, make lots of side project and contribute to open source, I'm sure that you're going to learn it as soon as possible in a in a very short amount of time. So I so that was the answer of the third question. So Toby, you can continue from now on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ali. Very good answers and very nice answers, and I really like this. And I really like the stuff that you've explained, the questions you answered from what React is all the way to how easy it is to work with React. So my own to like pitch my own questions and like answer them. I mean, what makes React different? Like very much React is it's a very crazy library that gives you things on the fly. So it's dynamic. So one of the things that makes React unique is that it's dynamic. You can create like web applications like and spin them up in like seconds because requires you to like do less code and gives you more functionality. There are things like hooks and all those things that React gives you on the fly and you can just easily spin up websites. Um, yeah, so that's like the answer to like one easy answer to what makes React different. But there's also the answer of like a virtual DOM. We'll talk about this later because React also has something called a virtual DOM that makes you spin up, your application super fast. So so it's the last question, which is the fifth one. Yeah, so the last question is the fifth one is what is the difference between a library and a framework? It's actually quite simple. What because and let me start with the framework because frameworks are actually they give you like constraints. I mean, if you saw our previous live streams, you saw us working with Tailwind, and Tailwind is a CSS framework. So what frameworks gives is that the frameworks give you a structure and a pattern, a strict pattern to follow to be able to use the technology you're working with. But a library just gives you the library has like pre-built stuff. They've given you all these things like on the fly. You just have to install them and then write your own code to make stuff work the way you want them to work, like depending on your own use case. So a library like React gives you opportunity to write your own code and tell your project what to do instead of your project having to tell you um instead of your project having to tell your code how it should be written. You're actually writing your own code the way you want it to be written. So that's like the simplest explanations to our answers to both
That's
questions.
yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Okay, so Toby did answer the last two questions very well. So thank you for
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
this was our first part of the live stream. So it is done. That we answered five questions. So the last part of this live stream is going to make a very simple project to teach how to work with React. So for a demo, to show like what project we are going to make, like it's don't care about the styling, like it will take time to make this kind of a style. So just care
yeah,
about whenever I click this button, the value is going to change. Like right now, the logic is the justify content. So whenever I say center, like it's going to center all the items of this container. Like yeah, that's
yeah.
what we are going to make. But we don't
I
really care
really
about the
like it.
styling.
It's really awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go and start the coding. So let's change the branch. Mhm. Get check out main. Okay,
So we change. Yeah, awesome. Go ahead.
okay. So it's going to be our 16, right? Like we have to make a folder and say
Yeah,
live stream 16. We need to go inside of it. Live stream 16 code. So right now we are having like you can explain Toby. Oh,
what's that?
like I need to share the link so that you can the link of
Reconnect,
yeah reconnect.
live share. I think I'm still connected. Am I not?
Really?
Yeah, it looks like I'm still connected on my end.
So can you type something in the terminal?
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
You see it there? Oh, it's not showing.
No, no, it's not sure. Okay, no
I'm still
problem.
it still says joined here. It still says,
Okay, I will
yeah,
send you a new one.
okay.
Okay, you can take it.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Okay, I got it. Connecting now, connecting. Type share.
Connecting.
So yeah, you can go ahead, Ali. Just explain. Just explain meanwhile. So I'll
Okay,
connect from here.
okay, no problem. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do, like we are going to use Vite. Like Vite is a something that will help us to build React project, like the folder that we need for the React project. So Vite is going to do it very easily. Like when all I need to say is npm create Vite, and it's going to be the latest version. So we have to say enter. So it's asking us what our project's name is going to be. So I will say it's going to be the same folder. So right now we are getting several options: vanilla, Vue, React, pre-React, Lit, Civil, and other. So we need to select the React, and also it's asking us to select the TypeScript or JavaScript. So we need to select the JavaScript because we didn't teach about TypeScript, but we will, no
TypeScript,
problem.
yeah.
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 So right now it is asking us to run the npm install so that it's going to install all the dependencies.
hmm And I actually don't use this format to create my Vite app. I use npm init Vite, and it still does the same thing
Oh,
that you just did. npm
oh,
init Vite. That's how I use.
okay. But this
Yeah.
is the short way, bro. This is the short way
Yeah,
that you
it's
can do.
yeah, this one is shorter. This one is
Yeah.
shorter.
So right now, all the dependencies are installed. So we need to run it. So we can say npm run dev. So it's going. So we need to open this with. Okay, we are getting like with plus React.
Yeah. Vite
Okay,
plus
so you
React.
can continue and explain the folder, like why we are having public, why we need this or say, yeah.
Yeah, sure, of course. So good job, Ali. So Ali started by creating Vite app, and Vite is basically like what would I call it? Like a template provider that gives you access to multiple templates to whip up your projects, like bootstrap any projects that you're using, either React, Svelte or something. I think I saw Svelte here, and I
Mhm.
can't remember the last one, but it gives you like easy access, like templates codes to get them started. So yeah, we are looking at this React folder structure now, this directory, and we are seeing let me start from like the top. So there's public here, and public is basically where you keep stuff, like maybe when you have like images, or maybe you have like favicons, or like that you want to put in your on top of your website or something. This you keep them in the public folder, because that's where, like, when you maybe put them like in production or something, when your site is being deployed or something, you will see all these kinds of stuff here. So you can put an SVG there, like this, like the VT logo that we saw on there, and all this other stuff be in the public folder. And then there's the SRC folder as well. So in the SRC folder, we'll see some subfolders. There's assets. So assets, like, you can put images there, put your own SVGs. You can put like maybe other images that want you somewhere else in your website or something. You put them in React, which is different from the public. In the public folder, you are not to put like your own things that are in your own any stuff that is like within your own code ecosystem. Everything within your code ecosystem should actually be within the SRC, because that's where your project is actually is. So assets, you can put stuff there. Assets, like, you can put a CSS there if you want. Depends on the structure you want to use for a project. You can put your images there, photos, PNG, SVG, everything. And then there's the app.css file, which is basically the CSS file for the app.jsx. So it's a CSS file, which is the for the app.jsx. So looking at the app.jsx, so JSX is what React uses. So instead of JS, React uses .jsx. So and the GSX basically just gives you let me just start by telling you what GSX is. GSX is like JavaScript plus XML. So it's like you're writing HTML and JavaScript together. That's what Java and JSX is like, and it gives you like opportunity to spin up websites and like components easily because React is component based, and each component is like a function in JavaScript that gives you access to build UI. So UI is React is like a UI based library, but you can easily build like actual UI from scratch very easily. So JSX is what allows that. But I can use JS2, but I would have to import React from React or something, which would like allow my React to be read or something. But it doesn't really change anything. JSX is like standard, and Vite doesn't actually allow you to use the JS. So the JSX is what Vite uses because Vite is So then there's a CSS like a global CSS
Uh,
file that gives that like anything that any style you want to be global to your project, you can put your index as CSS, just standard that you put it there. But you can delete it if you don't really want the file, so it doesn't really change anything that significantly. And then there's main.jsx. So main.jsx is your app's outlet. So every other code you are writing in your project, they technically cannot go out of the project because remember I told you React is component based, and then each component is within another one. It's like a tree of its own independent. So the main outlet of your entire application is actually main.jsx. So you render your application to the DOM or to your browser. I mean, like because it's a virtual DOM, so you render your application to be displayed or to be rendered on your browser from main.js. And main.js is how your application gets it's like a leeway outside of your application. It's the only way out of your application. So that's why we're putting app there because app is like a component that wraps every other component within your application. That does not make sense now, but later on, as we explain, we'll go more further on this. So and the other files like your AS links and configuration file where you have like all these things to ESLint is like a code linter. So just to probably check your there is a standard the standards of like JavaScript and all those things. So then there's git ignore for like the files to ignore when you're pushing to GitHub. Obviously, you don't want to push your node modules and write it when you start doing your folder and some VS Code
yeah.
configurations. You don't want to push them. So there's your index.html, which is outside the SRC. Very weird because Vite does this way because it's actually it's neater this way because if you use create your act app, which like default will be used to create your act apps, it was very weird to like have your project, your HTML very little with so many unnecessary info and comments. But Vite has this like very
Mhm.
neat and clean way of giving you your HTML file very neat and short and everything. So package.json where you have like dependency stuff that your project depends on. Like it's just a JSON file that gives your project like a name and all these things. So I probably didn't have to go into this, but package JSON almost same thing as package dot JSON, but with more details as to dependencies you have installed and scripts that you want to put in your project. So script like npm run dev, npm run build, npm run links, npm run preview or something to activate the git commands and some dependencies that you have pre-configured like React, React, ESLint, all these things. So and there's vitconfig.js, which is like the configuration for your JS. This is where the Vite compiler and other things. This is where Vite would add the React compiler and other things that you need to actually run your application with Vite. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to the Vite directory structure and the React directory structure given to you by Vite rather. So thank you, Ali.
Okay, so to be honest, this was the hardest part that someone should explain all the folder, but it did it very good. Like it was the
Yeah,
hardest part for me because it was hard for me to explain like why we have main.jsx, but you did very good. Awesome, that's good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, so let's go. So as Toby explained all the folders and files, so we can keep going and building the project, our main project. So all we need to do is we don't need this logo, this text, this button, so we can remove them
No.
all. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can remove it. So, and also about the color, we can also, like there are basically like there are two files for styling. One is index.css and one is app.css. So you can keep one of them. So for this one we are going to remove the index.tss because we don't need that. We can remove it.
Yeah, yeah, we don't need it.
And also we need to remove it as well in the import in the main.jsx
Yeah,
so that we
because
don't get any
so it's
error. Yeah.
because yeah, exactly, exactly.
So, so what we need to do is say like we need a div, so we can say div. So inside of that div, we are going to give it a class name, like another div, and say something like container, which this container consists of
Mm-hmm.
several div. Because if you see the oh, I removed it. We can see the project, but no problem,
yeah,
we are good.
yeah, the demo. But you can still run it though, like on a separate terminal. You can still keep it running. You open another terminal.
But I have to switch it to new the demo branch.
Yeah, you have to switch the demo branch from that new terminal
Okay, no
to
problem. We can
actually.
keep going by this one.
Yeah, 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 for
Okay.
sure.
So right now we have a container. Inside of that container, it consists of six div. So we can go here, and also we can remove all this styling. We don't need it. We can make our own. So we can say universal selector margin 0
Mm-hmm.
and adding. Oh my god, adding 0 and border
Box, box sizing,
border.
box
Oh,
sizing,
box sizing.
box
Oh my
sizing.
god. Or I thought like why is it not showing the option? Okay.
Yeah,
So for a demo list type something like it is working. Yeah, it's working fine.
yeah, it's working. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's target the container itself and let's give it a width something like 700 and height of
Mm-hmm.
300 and say the
Mm-hmm.
background to visualize it a bit more whether it is working or not. Yes, it is working fine. So right now all we need to do is to center this div on the page. So we can say
Yeah,
the body and say we can reuse the flex box for centering it, justify content center, and align
yeah,
item center. So we need to give it a height of 100 VH. So right now it's looking good. So let's say something F2, F2, F2.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm, like let's okay. Right now it's good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, W, you can continue.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Ali. This looks very nice and yeah, properly centralized. So let me just take it from here. So if we could actually get what we're working on, this would have been nice. Maybe next time we'll use code pen or something to like
Yeah,
or code
exactly.
sandbox so that we can or code sandbox so that we can have it open up. Yeah, that's something we've learned from today. So yeah, but we actually have what we I know what we have in mind and if I can show it somewhere, I know what we have in mind and yeah, so we are actually I think I sent you your DM. You can check your Discord DM. Actually sent you like a screenshot or something.
Oh, okay.
So we are like we're working on something that has showing the flex. So we have like the flex items like on the top that you can use your buttons to yeah. We check your Discord, scroll up, scroll up, yeah. You can open in browser.
Okay.
Open in browser. You can just open in browser, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, yeah. So you can close it. So yeah, this is what we're actually working on. So yeah, we have like all these items like right here at the top. We have these boxes. We can move them around with those buttons at the top. Yeah, changing the styling of the justify of the flex properties and stuff. And then yeah, we have these buttons at the bottom. So Ali has done a good job of doing the container and adding the four or is it 4 or 5? Yeah, of adding the four boxes there. So I'm just going to go to the part where we add the buttons to move the stuffs around and change the styling. So let me get started from there. So I'm just going to check my app.jsx now. Yeah, right there. So right from where Ali stopped, I'll continue. So I'm going to create another div. Am I typing? Yeah, typing. So I'm going to call this div and give it the class name of buttons. So because this is where my buttons will exist. Buttons And then, yeah, I'm going to have like three other divs. No, yeah, how many divs? So there's one for flex start, one for flex end, one for flex center. There's one for align items. There's one for justify contents. I mean, space between, or rather space around, space between. So six buttons basically. So I can do div times six. It's something that Emmet gives us. So I can just do div times six and to give me six buttons. No, sorry, button times six rather, not div.
Yeah,
Sorry.
button. Yeah.
It's not showing me. Emmet, what's going on?
Okay, I think I need to do it because it is in my VS Code. So
Oh, live
okay,
share,
no
live
problem.
share. Yeah, you can just do it.
Okay, button six.
Button
Okay.
times. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
awesome. Yeah. So I just did six buttons. Yeah. I'm going to call this one start. Sorry, start. This one will be end. This one will be center. I'm just following what the design I just showed you is. I mean, showed, yeah. So center, and this one will be just space between. Space between. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Space between. This one will be space around.
space
Space
around.
around.
Yeah.
And space evenly. So now we've successfully built a simple UI for like right there. We just wrote JSX code and we had it in a function called app, and this is actually the entire thing we want to build. We just have some functionality with it. Okay. Can go ahead, Ari.
Okay, so Toby just created six buttons. That is like whenever we click each button, like something must happen. So we can do it later, like in second, but let's give it some styling so that we can see the buttons clearly. So all we need to
Mm-hmm.
do, like before styling the buttons, we need to like if you see like we created six div. So for each div, we
Mm-hmm.
are going to give it a width, height, and background to see it. So for that, I'm going to target div because it is inside the dot container element.
Container.
So I'm
Yeah.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a width of 60 pixel, height of 60 pixel. I want it to be square, and I'm going to
Yeah.
give it a color of black.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, like if we see in the demo in the website that we have created as a showcase, like it's the rectangle should be row in a row direction. So for that, we're going
Mm-hmm.
to say display flex, and let's give it a gap to see gap of 5 em,
Should
and
I
let's
should
add
I
some
pardon? Okay.
yeah just padding. Okay, right now it's good. So the
Yeah.
logic that we are going to apply, like whenever I click this start, like if you have used the flex box, like you can get a feature by the name of justify content,
Justify
which you
contents.
can
Yeah.
change the position of elements. Like I'm going to say center, all elements is going to be center. If I say space between, so it's going to like have even equal space between them. So that's what we are
Yeah.
going to do it with only with this button. Like whenever I
Yeah.
click this space between, like the justify content must be space between. Whenever I click the space evenly, the justify content must be evenly spaced evenly. So that's the logic that we're going to approach. So
Apply.
I'm
Yeah.
going to delete this one. Okay, and let's give it some style on the button. So we say
Yeah.
container button.
Button. No, the button is not in the container. Button is in
Oh,
buttons.
okay, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Buttons.
Buttons. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can say give them a padding uh, 3 for the x-axis and 1 em for the y-axis. So we have to say the display inline block so that we can see the
Yeah.
padding.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think
It's not.
it's working
It's
fine.
not.
Like 1
It's not
em is
working.
for x-axis.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Right
Yeah.
now,
Exactly.
we can also like I want these buttons elements to
Mm-hmm.
have some margin top. So I'm going to target
Around. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
uh,
Buttons.
buttons and say margin top, something
Margin
like so
top.
that we can have a
Money.
space
Yes.
between the
That's very
container
nice.
and the buttons.
yeah. This styling is very minimalistic, and I like it. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, and also let's add some. I think right now the styling is good. Like let's
Yeah,
we can work on the logic of it. So
yeah.
Toby,
Of course.
you can continue.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So now I'm going to now start using some React specific stuff. So all the things we've done so far is like normal HTML and normal CSS.
Mm,
But
yeah.
now it's time to actually use React. So now, okay, now let me put this in the simplest way possible. React has some pre-built functionality that it gives us as React developers the opportunity to use to make our applications functional. So, and one of those things that React does is that React gives us are called hooks. So hooks are like functions that allow us to to, as the name says, hook into a specific function. For example, use state allows you to control the state of your application. Use effect allows you to also hook into like specific parts of your React lifecycle. So there's something called like the React lifecycle. Like it's like a whole thing. So there's the rendering state, the unmounting state, and the update states in React. So yeah, it's like the lifecycle of React. So all these things we can still read up on them, but we might not explain them in this live stream because like it's beyond the scope. But there's something called the
Mhm.
lifecycle in React. So and hooks allow us to hook into the lifecycle of React applications. So now in this state, what I actually need for my React application is I want it to be that when Ali or I click on, or when you click on any of the buttons, we want the styling, the justify styling to change. So maybe when you click on start, you want the items to go to the start, and you want them to go to end, center, you want to be in center, justify content, space between, you want to be when them space between. So I'm going to write the logic for that now in my app component. So starting from here, so I'm going to import something called use state at the top here. So use state is the hook that allows us to hook into the state of our application. I'm going to import use state from React. So it's a hook, a function, sort of. So use state from React. And then I'm going to now use state now. So there's something called destructuring. If you know ES6, destructuring is one of those things that ES6 offers for JavaScript syntax. So I'm going to destructure. I'm going to write actually my own state. So actually, when you're using use state, you can actually destructure two things: the actual state and the function to update the state from your use state from hook rather. So now I'm going to do that now in my application. So my application, I'm going to call it justify content. That is the states that I'm using. Justify content.
Mhm, yeah.
I'm going to call the function that I will use to update justify content set justify content. So this is like standard. Whenever you are creating state in React, the name of the function to update the state is called set. I think there's some melody for React. So you are going to
Yeah.
call the application that updates the state. You're going to just add set before it and then set justify content. I'm using camel
Yeah.
case here.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like a JavaScript thing to use camel case. You should know that. So if you don't know that, like JavaScript uses camel case for naming variables and stuff for functions.
Hmm, yeah.
So use state is here. Now I'm going to now if state requires you to initialize the state. Normally we don't actually have to do this, but because the default state of flex, like normally in CSS, is always start. But it is when we start applying styles to our justify content that we change justify content state. So I'm going to like have a default style, have a default state for my justify content to be start because that's like the default normally in our
Hmm,
CSS. So I'm going to have
yeah.
start be here. Oh, sorry. So start is here.
Yeah.
So and it's a string, normal string. This state can take other form of
Yeah.
data types. It can take booleans, can take numbers, can take an
Yeah.
object or something, and then you update the state. It doesn't really matter. But for now, I'm using a normal string. So now I've
Yeah.
put the justify content and set justify content, and I've called the state start. So now I'm going to use these variables now. And how do I use them? I have to use them with the buttons. But for me to use them with the buttons, I want an event to happen. I mean, if you've seen our live stream with JavaScript, we're using events. There was one where we did the drag and drop, one we're using the typing and all these things. So all these things are called events. So now React allows you to use events too. But React has attributes for working with events. And the event we're working with here is the click event. So on click of
Hmm.
something, on click of a button, you want stuff to happen. So that's what I'm going to be working with here. And on click of that, I want to update the state. So React gives me a rendering, unlike normal JavaScript and HTML where you have to force render or find a way to force render to do the DOM. Here, I'm working with the virtual DOM. So rendering is actually done for me like on the fly, so I don't need to stress. So
Yeah.
all right, update the state. Yeah. So here I'm just going to do on click. So this is the event I'll be working with. I'll add it to the button, and on click I'll pass in the callback function. And what I want to be done here is I just want to set justify content. Why is it not suggesting it for me? Okay, sorry, live sharing.
Yeah,
So I'm going to set
yeah,
justify content to start here.
yeah. Start.
Exactly. So I'm going to set justify content to start. Yeah, so I'm going to do the same thing for this, but I want justify
Okay.
content to be,
Mhm.
yeah. Did you say something?
Toby, like, yeah, I wanted to say, like, before you write the rest of the on click, like, I just wanted to clarify something.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Sorry, Toby, for cutting you. Like,
Yeah, sure.
as Toby said, like, we can use user state for changing state management. So for like, if we console.log the justify content, oh, justify content. Like when I open the div tools, inspect, and go to the console, console, you see, like we are getting the value which is a start. So whenever I change it, like say center, and also we are getting the value itself. So that's why it's very good to know how to work with user state. And another thing, like the default is a start. So okay, so okay, Toby, you can continue. That's what I was
Awesome.
supposed to
Thank
say. Yeah,
Yeah, that was really good. I really like that. I really like the fact that you called my attention to that. That was a good explanation by Ali. So, so in case you're like
yeah,
investigating and trying to understand how I was doing this stuff, that was an
yeah.
explanation to show you how it's happening. So now for on click of the end button, obviously I want it to go to the end too. So I'm basically going to be following all the types that I put for my buttons here for to be applying them to the on click because when the button is clicked on, just you watch that the callback function will run, and when the callback function runs, the event has happened. And when the event happens, we'll go back to the top here and we'll update the state like automatically. This state here will just change from start to whatever we click on. You won't see it in your own code because your code is like obviously read only. You can't your code should not be changing. If the code is changing while your application is running in your own VS Code, that's very weird. So, but it will be changing on the browser because the browser is where your code will actually go to run. But from here, this is the template of how your code should, your program and your logic should be like. So, coming back here, I'm just going to do the same thing I've done before, but then for on click, I'm just going to copy this. Sorry, let me complete this one. So I'm going to change this one to end. Sorry, small letter. Because that's well, we're basically still just writing CSS here. If you think about it, still just CSS we're writing. So but we're just using an event to alter the CSS. So sorry. So for this, I want the on click to go to the center, and then for this, I want on click to take me to space between, to space hyphen between. For this, I want the button to take me to give me a space around specified content, the space around. And for this, I want my button to give me a space evenly specified content, space evenly. So that is pretty much all there is to adding states,
Yeah,
creating a state, and then using an
exactly.
event to update the state. So Ali can take it from here.
Okay, so thank you, Toby. Like you did a great job. So to see whether this function is working or not, let's console.log once again the justify content, whether to see whether the value is being changed or not. So let's go to the inspect. So we are getting the default value, which is a start. Let's refresh it. So whenever I click one of the button, like the value must be changed. Like space around is going to be space around. Space between is going to be space between. Space evenly. Like okay. So I think it's all working fine. So what we need to do right now is to specify the layout, the flexbox position. So for that, we can target the container itself, and we can say a style and two parentheses, and inside of that we can specify justify content to be the value of justify content. But if you know about ES6,
Yeah.
you don't need to write it twice, but if you write it once, it's going to be all right. That's the short way of doing it. So
Yeah.
right now the
Yeah.
default is stored, like the flexbox position, the justify content is stored. So that's why all the items is stored. So when I click this button, which is saying end, all of these items going to be the end, like in the end. Like you see, center, space between, space around, space evenly. So what is happening right now? So whenever I click some button, say use a state. So whenever they use a state capture something that this is the value is changed, it's going to rerun this whole component. So when it rerun the whole component, we can see a new effect, new design, a new layout of the page. For example, right now it is in the sort. So when I click center, it's going to rerun the whole code, this component, so that we can see the change
Yeah. Yeah.
instantly on the
Yeah. Yeah.
page.
Yeah. Mhm.
And there's no need to refresh it so
Yeah.
that we can
Yeah.
see the
Exactly.
change. It's going to change it instantly without refreshing the page. Like space around,
Yeah.
like whenever the value of justify content or the state management is changed, it's going to rerun the whole component. So that's what the logic is. So we just accomplished the project. Like we didn't really care about the styling. You can know that you can learn the logic and you can add more style to make it more beautiful.
Yeah.
But the point
Yeah.
of this live stream was to teach you how to work with state management and also about JSX. Like you might think that is just similar to HTML. So why you are saying that it is JSX? So JSX,
Yes.
as Toby said, it is HTML plus JavaScript. So we can work with them in one. Like for example, if you see like on click, we are using JavaScript, but for the div, for the button, we are using HTML. But if you use the HTML itself, like HTML, we won't be able to do it. Like we won't be able to use this line of code, which is JavaScript. So this is called
Yeah. Yeah.
JSX, which is combination of HTML and JavaScript, as Toby said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome explanation, Ali. That was very, very thorough and nice. And also, we actually did complete the project live. So I mean,
Yeah.
this was the purpose of the live show. We did complete it. I mean, it works very nicely now, and it also teaches some things about. I mean, like if you wanted to like learn for, flex justify content from this, you can actually learn and play with it around and stuff. Maybe this can be something we'll
Yeah.
do in the future. Add more features to this project and
Yeah.
make it bigger and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, this is pretty much the purpose of this live show. We're able to achieve it using React. This was something we did in like how many seconds, and we're able to spin up this simple website. I mean, if we're using vanilla JS, HTML, and CSS, it probably take us longer but we're still
Yeah.
writing the same code, but it's probably take us longer. But with React, we're able to spin this up in like how many minutes? Like maybe 20 minutes, but that's maybe like for something because we're talking and explaining some stuff.
Yeah,
But it's probably
exactly.
be
Yeah.
less. Probably be less
Yeah.
if we're not explaining. So yeah, this was awesome. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much on. And the comments are on fire. People are really showing support. And yeah, Pradomna showed up, Daniel, Brian. Yeah, shout out to all of you, Raja, and everyone. So, I hope you guys really get value from the live stream and share your thoughts and stuff in the comments. Yeah, Ali, what's up? Any stuff you want to share?
Uh, like uh, like we did explain everything. Like we did like make this project. Like it's very simple, but it wasn't like the styling wasn't the point of the live stream. Like the point was to teach you how to work with the state management, like user state, which is a hook, which is coming from React itself, like how to work, and what if the value of users is changed? What will happen to the component? So it will rerun the component when this state management is changed. So and also we teach you we talked about JSX, like JSX is not similar to HTML, and we told you the reason. And also we learned something very short. Like instead of writing justify content twice, we can write it once, and it's going to work the same way. Like you can use either
Yeah,
way. And also
yeah,
we can in this like you see like it's a new tip. Like instead of like you see, we have a six div. Like instead of writing this way, like opening and closing div, we can also say like one div and say this one. Like it's going to
Yeah,
work the same way.
yeah, but only in JSX though. This does not work on
Exactly.
HTML. It only works
Yeah.
in JSX.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's only working in JSX, not HTML.
yeah,
If you use it
yeah,
in
exactly.
HTML, then you're probably going to get a new error.
Yeah, I need to tell error. That would be weird.
Yeah. And
So
yeah, that's all.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. This was a nice live stream. I really loved it and it was fun. And we were able to achieve all we wanted to achieve in live stream in like 40 something minutes. So this was fun, in my opinion. That's all from my end. Any final thoughts, Ali?
To be honest, nothing. Like I just told everything about the live stream, and yeah, that's it. And I see new faces today.
Yeah, yeah, new people showed up, and that means we're actually making projects and progress and stuff. So this is nice. Thanks for the support, guys, and yeah, Ryan has been really active in the comments. Yeah, thank you, Brian, for showing up. Really appreciate it. And sure, you can learn from the live streams and look in case you want to learn
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, awesome. So yeah,
it's
I'm pretty much like maybe yeah, I guess it's the part where I like talk about like my GitHub Star campaign and stuff. So I'm actually still running for looking for nominations to be a GitHub Star. So you can just go to let me type the website in the comments. So you can go to stars.github.com and nominate Toby Solutions. Stars.github github.com/nominate, and then you nominate Toby Solutions.
yeah,
So that would really mean a lot to me when it comes to videos. Like I really appreciate it. So I just sent it in the comments, so you can check it out and nominate me if you want to. I think the link the text is probably broken or something, but yeah, it is. It
yeah.
starts like GitHub. Yeah, it's probably
Everyone,
broken.
you
I'll
must
find a way to
nominate
always
him.
make this better or something. Maybe it's in the
Uh,
description.
like everyone, you have to nominate him because
Yeah,
he's really doing a great job in open source. He was bringing lots of values, like a lot. He's putting lots of effort on doing open source, like contribution and lots of that. So you really deserve to
yeah.
be nominated, bro.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ali. That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty much all for this live stream, and not to further elongate this, I think we should just like end the live stream and say bye to everyone. So from my end, from Tobiloba's end, bye everyone.
yeah. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. See ya.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
A weekend.